palliative care. For 2 years, I worked with terminal ill people, and that what really took me down a spiritual journey, watching people die at Southwood Prison, and watching terminal ill people die, being there, praying for them, and leading a lot of them to Christ. And that time in prison, those 10 years and 2 months that I did in prison was a real spiritual journey for me. And a transformation was taking place during that time. I learned to let go and let God, and keep him on the throne and me down here, and I'll be all right. Okay, okay. So through it all, I had a sense of direction. I had a purpose. I knew what my purpose in life was. I was a taker now to become a giver. So after the assessment center, Bo Robinson, I went to Integrity House. 4.5 months in Integrity House, I met Jim. He was a spiritual guide, teacher there. And I drew close to him, became good friends. And that was my journey. And then then from there, Cure Halfway House, I didn't think that I didn't think I had a chance for a job. I remember being up in a Father Now program. This is a program for fathers who's trying to get their life back on track. So, and I'm there in the computer room, this small little Jewish guy comes and tapped me on the shoulder and asked me who I was, and I said, I'm Larry. He said, I have a job for you. He gave me a job at in security. So I work in security for 10-story, 300 employees. So I'm security for that. I'm an ex-felon, I'm a criminal, and this is how I've been blessed, by doing the right thing, And then I was offered a teacher job in health and nutrition. Okay, health and nutrition. So I did my research, and I learned how, I learned all about nutrition, health, and everything. And next thing I know, I'm teaching guys how to take care of their children, their wives, and everything. And I'm teaching mothers how to take care of their babies, Anybody know what cholesterol is? Colostrum? Okay, well, that's that yellowish, goldish milk that women have with their first 4 or 5 days. Well, anyway, that...
Larry, we got two more speakers.
Okay, well, anyway, that started me on a journey of success. Okay.
Larry.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry. With apologies to our panel and to the audience, because we could listen to everyone for now. We have about another 10 minutes, and we have 2 more fabulous speakers. Our next speaker is Helena Mohammed, who you've heard mentioned. She's beloved to all, and she's the director of the women's program in the Hudson County Jail. Helena?
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. I'd like to say good morning to everyone and tell you guys that you have an opportunity that I got and I received in 2011. A man or woman without a dream or a purpose will vanish. And I'm very grateful to be a part of many of the people in this room's dream and vision to continue the work we've been started in Hudson County, and other counties are dying to become involved in. I'm very honored and privileged to be a part of someone else's dream and vision to help people re-enter society in a more positive manner and be successful. I do drug and alcohol work inside the Hudson County Correctional Center. A dream and vision of Oscar Avila, is the director of the Hudson County Correctional Center. I've had the opportunity never to be incarcerated. However, on February 18th in 2011, I made a decision that I was going to be locked up every day voluntarily with women. We started out with a women's program in the Hudson County facility, providing a therapeutic community environment for women to begin to recover in. And then a year later, we started a program for males with co-occurring disorders. So we have men and women at the county level receiving drug and alcohol treatment on a daily basis. We program from 9 to 5 inside of the Correctional Center. These men and women have been afforded the luxury through the Hudson County Reintegration Program of being filtered into society, into housing units, and continued treatment at various vendors throughout the Hudson County community. And for this, I'm very grateful for all the vendors, because this came from us and went to the hands of, in the care of someone else, and can sit here today and tell a story of success from start going toward the end. I'm going to keep it very short. Thank you. Please continue to support the efforts of the reentry people in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Helena, for your message and all of the people you help on a daily basis. Our final speaker, Eugene McKnight, is part of the fiber and marrow of Jersey City. He's held responsible jobs. He had a big fall. He comes back and he mentors. He works on the streets with gangs. He works with the homeless. And he'll go anywhere if he can help people. And I now introduce Gene McKnight.
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank our former governor for allowing me to be here. Former Governor McCreevy, thank you so much for allowing me to give me this opportunity, as well as our Mayor Steve Fulop. I really do thank you for allowing me to be here. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of individuals. I'm going to stand up. I don't like to sit down. I'm going to do mine by standing up. I don't like to sit down. Takes away from my energy. A lot of people in this room know me. I'm going to give you a little history about, first of all, who I am and where I come from. Former director of the Department of Human Resources, former director of the Community Development Block Grant, vice president of Emmett Realty, former director of the CAA program. It's a state program that used to oversee all the human resources throughout the state of New Jersey. I had a staff of 1,700 people, a budget of $40 million. So I think I was a very, very productive individual prior to going to the system. I'm going to start off by saying going in, preparing to go into the system. I thought to myself, am I really going to be locked up? Not Gene McKnight. This can't be happening to me. And when reality set in, and I'm going to be very honest with everybody, I fear no one but God, but I actually became afraid. I said to myself, in the next 2 months, I'm going into jail, a subculture, something that I've heard about, from individuals that I've known that going into the system. I said, this can't be happening to me. So I said, let me prepare myself. And each day, as it began to wind down, I said, well, I got 3 days to go, 2 days to go. And when I finally got there, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle this. And I thought, first I went to holding, then they transported me to several different other facilities until I wound up in Marlboro State Prison. And during that course of time, I said, well, how am I gonna handle this? Am I gonna just do something stupid, or just keep the mindset of being positive? So, going in, I think was the most, and I'm gonna basically deal with what's here already. And going in, I think was the most difficult part of my journey. And then I said, okay, well, going in is difficult, but what about coming out? When I came out, I had a lot of friends. Going in, I had a lot, prior to going in, I should say, I had a lot of friends. Former director of human resources, some high-powered jobs. But when I came out, the friendship, so-called number, that was maybe 100 at one time, dwindled down to about 10. I'd see people on the street and they treated me like I had the bubonic plague. I mean, I said to myself, I can't believe this. And all the people that I've helped over my lifetime in the various positions that I've had, and it really began to make me realize that nobody knows you when you're down and out. I think that's an old Wilson Pickett song. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. And that's what I said to myself, the value of true friendship. The struggles really determine friendship. It's not based on when you're doing good. It's based on when you're doing bad or when you're broke. People begin to we really can identify who your true friends were. And it was very, very difficult, extremely. I was able to, the struggle, was the most difficult part. I was a productive individual prior to going in, so it was a little easy for me in terms of, even though, most of the so-called friends that I thought that when I got out of the system would be able to help me, it just didn't work out that way. And it took me a long time to really be productive again. But during that course of time, I said to myself, well, since you can't find a job, to try to encourage other folks, or I should say discourage other folks not to go into the system. So I became a walking advisor, seeing individuals that I know, and I said, listen, that's not where you want to be. And they say insanity is doing something wrong over and over and expecting different results. That's what insanity is. Because if you do something wrong, you're going back, or you're going into the system. There's no doubt about that. And, I was able to survive, I think, because of the strength that I had prior to going in. And that's the most difficult part. Most of the individuals who are coming out of the system right now, they're coming out with a zero base. So they're looking, who's going to help me? And it gets to a point where you can't find that help, and then they look back towards the street. So it's important that we think about positive people, places, and things. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. One thing you'll notice is every person on our panel gives back. And that's one of the reasons that they got to the other side. There's a saying in NA and AA, you got to give it away to keep it. And that's what they have done. And I think everybody should remember that there are people very similar to the fine people we have here about to leave the prisons now, and all they need is a little support. And now we'll go on to our next panel.